Hello, this is Old Crow Balthazar, and welcome to Balthazar Strategic Arcana. So I'm going to be making about 5 episodes dealing with the Icarus mod, which I have a series that's going with MdSmall, and I'm playing Central Pars, he's playing on Taunt. This is a huge mod, so I decided to do kind of a video document. It's basically a rules errata, I guess. But it shows the changes that have been done with this mod because there's a lot. So anyway, this is just a brief introduction. So it'll be episode 1, I guess. So it'll be on my playlist. I'll be making a playlist so people can look at this. Now it's still under development, but pretty much it's been a project that's been going on for over a year. And this is just the latest iteration, and so it's basically complete. We are finding a few minor little things, mostly vanilla bugs. But anyway, here it is. So this episode is just gonna be the overview. I'm gonna show you the overview and then what MdSmall wrote. So here we go. So here's the table of contents. So we have an overview, and I'm gonna be reading that. The next episode we're going to be dealing with artillery, but section 2 is unit capabilities and upgrades. So we have artillery changes, infantry, German stormtroopers, tanks, anti-submarine warfare, airships, and maritime bombers. Some other features of this mod are dealing with technology, tech chit costs, selling tech chits. Section 4 is about building units, division size units, and changes to build limits. Section 5 will be unit morale. There'll be certain changes dealing with swapping of units, impact on unit morale surrenders. Section 6 is national morale. There's some interesting changes with naval blockades, reversing national morale gains and losses, national morale impact of surrenders, and the national morale value of Warsaw. There's a section on diplomacy. This is something that I worked on with him. He did all the coding, but I did a lot of tests with him and some suggestions. Something that was really missing in this in the vanilla game, which is wonderful in itself. And that's so we've done some Ottoman Empire modifications, specifically an enhanced decisions that might want to entice the allies to actually do a Gallipoli campaign, because no one ever does them. Section on Mesopotamia, Arabia, Armenia, Ottoman HQs, Ottoman resources, and Ottoman national morale objectives. Another interesting feature, which will be up in an episode, I'm going to be probably put all these together in one episode, is Persia. There's some changes dealing with Albania, with Austria-Hungary, the Polish Legion, and naval saboteurs. Interesting things that could be done with Denmark. And of course, there's going to be explanations. It'll get deep into it. Egypt, Finland, Greece. Greece, there's a whole bunch of nice changes. A lot of them were incorporated in the Balkan variations mod, which I played with Mike and tested. And there's some good stuff here. Pro-Entente coup and General Dangelis. There's a section here dealing with Iceland. Section dealing with Italy, the convoy to Italy from France, and Italian frogmen. Some real interesting stuff with the Senussi uprising, dealing with Libya here, of course. Benghazi, national morale objectives, that would be for Italy. Some changes with Montenegro, Norway, Morocco. This deals with the Rif Rebellion. Portugal, Russia, Spain, Sweden, and then very interestingly at the end, the United States, the Zimmerman telegram and its aftermath, general Pershing, and Spanish flu events. So all these things are going to go into detail. I'm going to read right off the document. This episode, though, is just dealing with the overview. So I'm going to read what Mike wrote, and this is what he sent to me. So, section 1, overview. The primary purpose of this mod is to expand the range of strategic options available to both sides using the existing game system. At this time, it's version 1.08. The core campaign areas of the game on the western and eastern fronts in Italy and the Balkans are largely unchanged. But many events have been added to make the Ottoman Empire a more interesting theater of war and to bring more minor powers into the game. Some of the new features make historical events more plausible as options for players, like the Gallipoli campaign, the Arab Revolt, the Persian Theater of War, or the Zimmerman telegram. Other features have been added which did not happen but could have, like the Ottomans extending a railroad to Baghdad or Sweden, starting a convoy to Britain through Norway. Diplomacy has been made more powerful, combined with a range of new options with minors, which can only be achieved through the creative use of diplomacy. The second purpose of this mod is to slow down the tempo of the war so that games will more often run to 1917 or 1918 before they are decided. And this is an insert from me. Played a lot of multiplayer. I've only seen one or two that actually got to 1918. A lot of the decisions would happen by 1916. So you'd never be able to get your World War I experience. Now, we understand why the tempo is the way it is before this mod. So it can be exciting. But some of us old grognards want to actually have the, as Mike would call it, watching hot lava roll real slow down a mountainside. That's exactly how World War I rolled. Pardon it. Anyway, this should allow players to experiment with new technologies that only emerge in the later stages of the war. Infantry Corps' defensive strength has been slightly increased, making combat losses more balanced between attackers and defenders, especially in the early stages of the war. The lethality of artillery has been reduced by restricting the number of shells that artillery units can store by slowing down investment in gas shell production. Heavy artillery units are introduced. Counter battery fire can now take place. Tanks have been made more effective. Several kinds of air power tech have been made cheaper to encourage investment in them. German stormtrooper units with some unique capabilities have been added starting in late 1917. It continues. Strategically, the naval campaign in the North Sea and the North Atlantic have been made more deadly by increasing the impact in 1917 and 1918 on national morale of the British blockade against Germany and German submarine warfare against Britain. The national morale impact on Russia of losing Warsaw has been somewhat reduced, which makes it more likely that Russia can hold out longer in the east. If powers can recapture lost national morale objectives, they can win back lost national morale points. These changes should give both sides more capacity to hold on until at least 1917, increasing the odds that the United States will enter the war. At that point, both sides should be in a race to see which side can push the other's national morale to the breaking point. So, the next episode we're going to deal exclusively with artillery. It's pretty big, and there's a chart. So, I really like this. I've tested it quite a lot, and I tested before the Balkan variations, and it kind of morphed into privately with Mike Ottoman variations. So he's incorporated all this. Also, what's gone on here is it's a lot of input from other people in the forums over the last couple of years, particularly dealing with the impact of artillery. And the developers, hey, they've made conservative changes and they've been great, and they listen to us. There's nothing on that. But this mod was created to at least address some of the issues that some of us hardcore players of this wonderful game has seen that needed to be enhanced a little bit, and I really like it. So there's that. So anyway, that's the end of this episode, and so the next episode is going to be changes to artillery. So there you go. These are all going to be on a playlist, so people can refer to this mod and the details. And there you go. Well, this is Old Crow Balazar. Thanks for watching, and see you on the virtual battlefields. I am gone.